Good stuff. Good stuff. I was wondering when them little payments I was sending you was gonna start paying off.
When corporate give me mine, I give you yours.
1, 2, 3, 4.
All right, guys, real quickly before we get started, we're gonna be doing Q&A today because last week we had the third annual, but we didn't have time for Q&A. So we're gonna be doing Q&A tonight. So if you have any questions, just be prepared to raise your hand to ask your question. And let's try to make them 1-part questions, not 3-part questions, so we can get everybody in that wants to ask a question. Plus, some of the answers might go long because we may have different trainers with different POVs on it. So just kind of be a little bit patient with us because when you ask a question, we're going to allow all of the trainers to kind of, chime in on it. So we want to try to get as many people in as possible to ask as many questions as they may want to ask. So we're gonna try to see how many questions we can get that done. And we may have a testimonial, but I want to see how this Q&A goes first, because I do kind of feel bad that we weren't able to get questions in on some of the stuff that we talked about because it was a lot of information. And some people were confused because, it's just a lot of information and they move CDLP, and sometimes clarity during those things are good. So we're going to be doing that today. And to remember, next week, Monday is the first Monday of the month. So we'll be doing fast start, meaning we're going to be talking about what you should be doing to get started right now in CDLP. What's the quickest route to take, things that you should be doing right, kind of right now to get into groups, to service groups, to do whatever. So we're going to be having that conversation as well. So with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to our trainers so that we can do our quick introductions. So let's do some 30-second introductions, guys, and then go into the Q&A. And again, guys, if you guys have questions, just raise your hand, hit the hand raising button, and then we'll call on you guys one at a time. You can put your questions in the chat, but we may or may not get to the ones in the chat. It just depends. If you raise your hand, then we'll be calling on you, so you can kind of unmute yourself, ask your question, then mute yourself back after that. So that's how we want to get that done today. So we appreciate you guys working with us on that. So I'm going to turn it over to Ms. Sharanda Ivy and let her start with introductions.
Had to turn off that noise. Lord. All right. Well, good evening, everyone. My name is Sharanda Ivy. I hope everyone is doing well this evening. I'm here in Byron, Georgia, about an hour south of Atlanta. So I don't live in Atlanta, Georgia. So I'm in Georgia. So you know. So I'm in Middle Georgia, but been a part of LegalShield. This is our 8th year. Been working LegalShield, part-time, meaning I wasn't doing anything else, but so I have focused more on the B2B side. So solutions is my major. And I would say small business CDL is my minor. I do some networking. I have a team and just recently recruited some people on the B2B side. But just glad about this side of the business. I'm a Solutions Sapphire Elite Associate. I've earned the 1000 Production App Award personally. And somebody said this morning, and I've been Performance Club qualified, guys, since month 1 of being in the business. And so that's just consistency. And I was named Ladies of Justice 2019 Field Trainer of the Year last year. So I earned the Ladies of Justice Award with that. But just love this space. I host an accountability call on Thursday nights, and that is more like a mastermind call for individuals who are definitely playing in the space and want some accountability and a little bit more coaching. So we welcome you to come there as accountability. So we look for you to show up. So with that, Robert, I won't belong to time. So I will pass it over to Randy up there.
Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I appreciate y'all turning in. This is turned out to be my where I enjoy working with LegalShield. I've done all areas of it. I've been working about 13 years. We've reached the 1,000 app award personal sales. We've reached the $50,000 ring, and it's a lot of fun to get up and help truckers every morning. I did a lot of small business at first, and then I do a lot of group business, and I'm up in a different place tonight. Reason I don't have my truck on my background is because I'm in a different area going to a group enrollment tomorrow. So we got on the call, and hope everybody enjoys it. And if I can ever help anybody, I am a field trainer. So give a shout and we'll see if we can help you. Over to Lamar.
Thank you, Mr. Randy. Really proud of you and your accomplishment. And Sharanda, really proud of you. And I'm Lamar Reynolds out of Houston, Texas, and it's an honor to be on the call here tonight. I've been with LegalShield for 15 years, and I've been a CDLP trainer for a little over 11 years. And I've been selling the CDLP membership out there for right at close to 14 years now. And so those of you that are on this call every week hear me say, I just get up every day and I sell to drivers and to trucking companies. That is my main goal. And ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to show you something I got in the mail this week. By selling transportation, a company sent me a little plaque there. I don't know if you can see that, for the 5,000 personal memberships. And hopefully you could see that. But that's what I accomplished by selling the CDLP membership out there to companies and to drivers. I'm part of the Solutions Elite, and it's just a great honor to be on the call here tonight. Hope to share some more great information with you, but we had a super call last week, which we're going to drill down into some questions this week. So it's going to be good for you to ask us some questions about the call from last week. Over to you, Mr. Robert.
Did we get John Hoffman?
I hadn't seen him.
I thought he was there.
I thought
John
it
is
was on.
there, but his speaker isn't activated. He had co-host, but his speaker isn't activated.
All right. John, you there? Going once? Going twice? All right, brother. All right. So my name is Robert Dunbar. I have been with LegalShield for 11 years, been training for 6, been CDLP trainer for a little bit over 2 years. We really enjoy what we do here, just being able to bring the information to you guys. We love this space. We love the opportunity that it gives us in the field to be in accounts that aren't swamped with LegalShield people or swamped with competition. Being able to help people. I really like what the membership does for the truck drivers. I really like being able to help them save their CDLP status, being able to use that license to do all the things they do for us in our households every day. So we appreciate you guys chiming in every week. We appreciate you guys just plugging into everything. Like we had a phenomenal turnout last week. I believe we had 100 on the Zoom and close to 80 on the YouTube channel live. So we've got, and when I go look at the views, I think we got over 350 views on a video on YouTube so far. So it's been doing very well. People have been looking at it. People have been emailing and asking questions about it and things like that. And that's what we want. We want people to get the information, use it as a good foundation on top of getting certified through the certification training that we do once a month. So you have a better idea on how to prospect companies. So let's go ahead and get started and move into some questions here. And let me see, do we have any questions, Sharon? Because I have to pull up the participants. No hands
Not
up?
at this time. I'll go back to it and nobody's raised their hands at this time.
So if nobody's raised their hand, then we can elaborate on some of this stuff if nobody has any questions. So.
Michael, Michelle, Michael.
Yeah, that's Michael.
Michael. Now, I know I'm training him. He calls out. He said, anyway, whatever. That guy.
Oh, what? If you're training him,
That guy.
Michael, you've been talking to him anyway. go ahead and ask him his question because you're working with him.
Go ahead, sir.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, we can hear you.
I'd like to start by thanking you all, the trainers, for all the organization and many do for us. I truly appreciate it. My question, I've been making some phone calls. Mostly what I'm be getting is, can you send me some information? So I don't know if that is a step toward opening, or there's something that I need to tweak that I can get past that hurdle and get an appointment. Because I've been getting people the information and we get back to you. So
I would love to answer that question.
Go ahead.
Well, Mr. Randy knows what I'm about to say, because a safety director or trucking company, it's really, in my opinion, a tough phone call to make. If you want to have a lot of success, Michael, what I would suggest that you do is to walk in to the account. Even though you may need even have an appointment, walk in. That is my favorite way to call on a trucking company. And unannounced, I'm going to say, as high as 90-something%, I'm able to see that safety director, the person I'm going to see. I'm able to get in there and see that person by just walking in. But if you call a safety director or an owner of a trucking company, they're so busy. The first thing out of their mouth is, can you send me something? Can you send me an email? And those emails, I mean, just as quick as you said that, they're going to glance at it and it's gone. I mean, it's out of their mind. So if you're going to have a lot of success in transportation, I just truly believe, now some of the bigger companies, you may have to get an appointment, but the smaller companies, walk in, just be prepared.
Okay.
And if you've done a little homework before you walk in, you will have success.
Okay.
I'll turn it over to the rest of the trainers to see if they have any input on that.
Well, the only thing I'll add to that is that 90% of the time, if somebody asks you to send them something, and you do, if they open it and look at it, what's going to happen, and I've seen this several times, and I don't know of any other way to do it, but they will normally go to the website, LegalShield.com, and they'll look it all over. They'll find the commercial driver's portion or the legal program or whatever you've talked to them about. And by the time that you call them back, they've already made their decision and they haven't heard all of the information yet. And so that's my problem is if I send somebody something, they predetermine and prejudge what their opinion is before I ever get to talk to them. And so sending them something isn't going to help me one little bit. That's what I've got. Sharenda or somebody else?
All right. So, Michael, I make calls now. I used to walk in, and I know you're a teacher, so your time is limited. When I send something, I normally just send the video. Or I send, I don't know what we call it, but a lot of the mastermind associates are having success by sending a resource like the one that talks about CSA scores, and they like to say the lady that has her arms crossed. But when my goal is to make an appointment with that person, because like they talked about with emails, they're getting 1,000 emails a day and the email is going to get lost. So a lot of times if I send something, that's what I'm sending. But most of the time I'm still working to get a scheduled time where I can talk with them so I can go ahead and say what I need to say. So so that's my take on it. I've been right. I mean, Lamar knows they taught me to walk in, but we're in COVID. and I'm not walking in right now, and I haven't walked in a year. And I think I kind of mastered a little of the phones, but my goal is to set an appointment and then just go ahead and do the DM. I do DMs all day with a lot of these people on this call, and we're opening groups. So, but yeah, I mean, walking in is where I used to be, but now I'm on the phone. So, but if I send something, it's just the CDLP video, and I recap whatever we said on the phone, and we go from there. That's all I send, and
Thank you.
that's been working for me for the past year. Dunbar.
Thank you.
I don't have nothing after all that. Y'all done said there ain't nothing else to say.
Well, I know he's a school teacher for one, so his time is limited. So, but I understand Lamar them. If I could be out there running the streets, trust me, I would. But that's just not my deal right now. And I won't say I've mastered the phones, but I do DMs on the phones. They're not Zooms. And I know 3 associates right now, we're closing groups at the end of the month. And I close business every single day on the phone. Small biz, I'm opening groups. I don't have to step in their door. But that's just something I had to do. If I had my choice, I'll be doing what Lamar and Randy's doing, or what I used to do pre-COVID. So that's what's working for me.
Good. And that's good that there's trainers doing it different ways, because of course it's going to be that happening in the field. And if every one of the trainers is saying walk in and nobody has any conversation about calling, it makes it difficult for the people who don't have a choice. So that's really good that we've got trainers who've got different pathways, and you've done it both ways. I mean, you've done it walk-ins when you could, and when your lifestyle has it set up where you have to do just call it, and that's what you do. So that's good. They're being versatile. Good stuff. Any other trainers have anything they want to mention before we move to the next question? Going once?
And I will say this though, like who said it? Randy, about LegalShield. That was you, Randy, about LegalShield. Yeah. But somehow, since I'm on the phones now, I really and you guys that have heard me, and this is just my thing, and I just seems to move a little bit better. I get a little bit more respect, I would say. I don't just say LegalShield, because like Randy say, somewhere along the way, whether it's my signature or something, is LegalShield is gonna be in that. Even the video gonna say LegalShield. But you gotta let them know it's a commercial division. So whatever thought they had about LegalShield, you don't let them know that it is not the wheel program, it's not the ticket program, it's the commercial program, right? And so now their mind is a little bit open, whereas if you just drop LegalShield, yeah, you probably never get a call back. Never, ever. So you gotta make sure on that phone call, you gotta let them know that this division is the commercial division. And most of them will say, oh, I didn't know, or you pique their interest a little bit when you say that, because people do have their opinion of what they think LegalShield is if you just say LegalShield.
Yeah, and that's good. And for the people who may be new, like you just joined last week, or you just got certified, or whatever your circumstance may be, understand that you're going to hear a lot of successful people on LegalShield on group calls, on this kind of setup, even on the networking side, that's going to make those comments. This is not about beating LegalShield up. It's because all of the business is being done by independent reps, and LegalShield cannot control, to a certain extent, what a rep does in the name of LegalShield. So when we're saying we're staying away from the name LegalShield, it's not because we don't like LegalShield. Obviously, we're doing LegalShield, we're doing trainings on it. It's because I don't know what the last man or woman said when they walked in that door before me. I don't know what kind of relationship they left. For those that get conservation groups, you guys know exactly what we're talking about. You get conservation groups, man. I've called conservation groups and gotten a mouthful. I mean, excuse me, an earful from people. Right? You know what I mean? Like they'll like blast you, like, yo, don't call here no more. We already told you. And then I gotta clean that up because some rep left some bad situation there. And it's not LegalShield doing something wrong a lot of times, it's the rep. And we're gonna run into that in the field. So understand when we're saying stay away from LegalShield, it's because we want that account to like you, know, like, and trust you first. Brand yourself as the reputable, notable agent that's going to come in and help that account. And then you create the trust for LegalShield, because LegalShield is a logo, right? You know what I mean? Like they can't trust or not trust the logo. They got to trust the person behind the logo. And they're not going to meet Jeff Bell. And a lot of them aren't going to meet the attorneys like we do at open house and all that kind of stuff. We have to be the walking billboard for the company. So you got to be careful when you go out there because you don't know what they heard last. And that's why I think Sharanda's line about the commercial division gives people a break to say, okay, well, I never heard that before. And they will listen to you because you're not saying will, or you're not network marketing them or whatever they heard before. So I think that's really important. So thanks, Sharanda, for bringing that up. So I hope you guys understand that and know what we mean by that. So Sharon, we got any more questions back there?
Yeah, Tyson, Sharanda just answered it, but I want everybody to hear it. Tyson wrote, when Kathy said last week, when a company has a high out of service number, she tells them to go to clean up the inspection to dilute the numbers. Where can they go to get a clean inspection? And Sharanda replied, at the weigh station. Do you all have anything else to add on to that?
Well, that might work at some weigh stations, but some officers, when you go in, they will give you a ticket. But some of the retired DOT officers, we have a group of those guys here in Houston, and they go around to companies, and on a Saturday they inspect trucks and they write up what all is wrong, but there's no ticket associated with it. So, but I would get to that agreement before I pull my truck in there, because if they found a violation, some of these officers will actually give you that ticket. But there probably are places that you can go and get a inspection.
Most. Oh, I'm sorry.
Go ahead. Okay, so there's places you could probably go and get a officer to do a inspection for you and not issue a ticket. But I would be very careful in the process.
Yeah, but what Kathy was talking about, Lamar, was actually getting a inspection on the road and have a clean inspection.
Oh,
and therefore that will dilute the numbers.
yeah.
That's what she was talking about, is actually having more inspections done by DOT officers on the road that are clean.
Oh, yeah.
And that will dilute the numbers.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what she was talking about.
Okay.
Robert,
They asked a question about what you were talking about, Lamar,
yeah,
on the 10 or 20 companies with 10 or 20. And I think you were talking about just 10 or 20 drivers, weren't you?
Well, I've got some container companies here that once a quarter, there's 2 or 3 retired DOT officers will come in and they will inspect the whole fleet. Might be 50 trucks to 100 trucks. And I'll usually will try to get in on that. And I'll set up me on table, and as the trucks are pulling up and getting their inspection, or afterwards or before, they'll come by my table and I have an opportunity to tell them about the CDLP membership and what it can do for them. But at these companies where they're getting the inspection by the retired DOT, before they're dispatched on Monday morning, they have to get those violations that was found repaired. If they don't get dispatched. And so that's the way some of my trucking companies are doing. I mean, 20 trucks, 50 trucks, you know, they can do that pretty easily on a Saturday.
Jim was asking, that's what he was talking about, Jim, on the 10 or 20 is drivers, the amount of drivers per company. Is just smaller companies with only 10 or 20 drivers.
Okay.
And Jim had a two-part to that one. He said also, please clarify when it says out of service, what does that mean? Is it the truck, the part of it, etc.? How do we help with that? Trainers.
Lamar?
Well, when there's an out of service, let's say you pull into a scale house and he puts you out of service, he's going to tell you to pull the truck right over there and park it. And if it's concerning a tire, you got to call a company out to replace that tire. Or if it's brakes, you got to call a company out to do the brake adjustment. And you better not move the truck until that's done, because you're violating the out of service, and the fines on that can be very expensive. I mean, we're talking about Randy, what was that? About $5,000?
Yeah, about $5,600
Yeah.
per out of service violation. The second one can even double.
So the first thing they got to do to answer that question, they got to take care of the out of service. All right. Then once they take care of it and they get back on the road, then, you know, they can call in the ticket, get it in Riggs and Abney, and then we will refer that out to a local attorney who will adjudicate that ticket. Okay. And hopefully we can get some of those violations dismissed or not guilty or reduced to a lesser charge, so that there won't be too many CSA points that go on their record. So that's how LegalShield can help. But they got to first get past the out of service and back on the road. And sometimes that can be very expensive to a driver who is based in Texas and he gets an out of service in New Mexico or California. I mean, then he's away from home and he's depending on a service company to drive out and to do those repairs on the road. And I know DOT officers, they'll put a truck out of service and then they'll go down the road about 4 or 5 miles and park. And they're sitting there just waiting to see if that truck is going to come by. And they catch a good many drivers violating the out of service of that truck without getting the repair done first. So you got to be really careful.
Thank you.
All righty. Thank you. Wilma Hayes asks, how do you handle a company with a lot of maintenance violations? Trainers.
Well, if there's a lot of vehicle maintenance, there is a lot of tickets being issued at that company. So number one, when I'm looking at the out of service on the vehicle and they're above the national average, that tells me they got some issues in their company. And so one of the pieces is to make sure that tickets are being adjudicated. And so when I see a company with a high out of service, I know a lot of tickets are being issued and I get to investigate that. And sure enough, is vehicle maintenance and a lot of brakes. It's lights, brakes, and tires. That's 1, 2, 3. I mean, you can pull any DOT number you'd like, and it's brakes, lights, and tires. Okay, that's a basic thing. But all of those tickets, even though they may be issued and the driver may be guilty of it, it still needs to be fought in court, because we do get some of those thrown out or reduced. So those need to be adjudicated. But that's where our program will step in, and working with the safety director and making them aware of certain things. I mean, I was at a company this weekend and did a presentation, and I got to talking to the safety director afterwards about making our program at least mandatory to the extent if a driver gets a ticket, they must get into my program. Okay. And then we talked about the importance of adjudicating every violation and making sure every ticket is fought in court. And so I picked out a couple of tickets that he was talking about in the safety meeting. I said, do you know if that ticket was fought? He said, not really. I said, well, that's what I'm talking about, is making our program have some teeth to it, that way it will help your driver and it will help your company. And especially if you've got a lot of vehicle maintenance, that's usually the number one category that there's an alert. There's a triangle on that particular component, because it's the one that is an area that most tickets are written, is vehicle maintenance. And so it takes a team effort between the safety director and you, the LegalShield person, to really make the awareness about the violations and the importance of fighting that on behalf of the driver and the behalf of the company. And these little articles that we bring to you on Monday nights, Mr. Randy gets a lot of those. And I merchandise those to the safety director and making them aware of certain things out there in vehicle maintenance that you need to be paying attention to. Just like road check. Now that's coming up. That's going to be based on the ELD, the log, and lights. And lights is an easy one to manage. And I brought this up to trucking companies, that at their exit, when the truck is leaving, the guard will walk out and do a walk around that truck. And I've got a lot of my companies, because Lamar Reynolds really talked about it and insisted that they try doing that. It eliminates a lot of light tickets. And guess what? If they stop you because a tail light is out or a headlight is out, guess what, Mr. Randy? They're going to find 5 other violations they're going to write too. So the low hanging fruit, do not put yourself in a position that, hey, I got a light out and I'm driving down the road, because you will be stopped and they will find other violations. So FYI, I mean, you can start to really help that safety director think through a few things. And sometimes it's real simple little things that you can put in place. Mr. Randy?
Yeah, they'll go on and do a walk around at least to see if they find anything else. And they'll normally usually write two citations at least. Also, we had TJ, can you clarify on your question? You say, how far back can LegalShield remove adjudicated CSA points? If they've been put on their record, you can't adjudicate them from that point. The ticket has to be open. If it's gone through the court system, there's nobody that can do anything for them. Right, Lamar?
Yeah. Now, he may be speaking, let's talk about it in 2 parts. One is adjudication that Randy is talking about. All right. So, and usually if you get a ticket, it's adjudicated in court within 30 days, unless you got a reset, and it's done in 60 days. All right. And so the court will make a ruling on that ticket and on the citations. And then based on the ruling, if there's an order of dismissal that is issued. Now, I've done a lot of safety meetings that I've had drivers to sign up and said, Mr. Reynolds, I heard you talking about the order of dismissal. I've got one of those, and that happened 2 years ago. Can I still get those points removed? I said, you sure can. Mm-hmm. Sign up in my program. Let's get that order of dismissal into the safety director, and we'll get that off of your record. Now, when do you want to turn in the order of dismissal? The first year when it's at 30, or the second year when it's at 20, or the third year when it's at 10? You want to do it in the first year. when it's at the highest level, which would be 30. And for the company standpoint, it's the first 6 months that is at 30. The second 6 months is at 20, and the second year is at 10. So the company wants to push that up. So you want the reversal to happen in the first 6 months of that ticket being issued, okay? But what Mr. Randy was talking about, the adjudication of the ticket. So the adjudication is one thing, reversing the points is another thing. So the adjudication, once that court, and I just had a driver in New Mexico, and on the roadside, he chose to, on that ticket, to choose that he would pay that ticket on the side of the road. Well, the officer checked that box that he admitted guilt and he collected the money on the side of the road. And then I got to talking. I said, man, did you know that went on your record? Well, I called the court. Now, sometimes I can talk them into changing it, but that case is closed because he chose that at the roadside. Or when the judge makes a ruling on that case is closed. And you have to have a very good reason to reopen that case. And I'll give you an example. I've had a driver in the past that, based on this ticket, he lost his driver's license. Now we got something to go back to the judge and petition the judge to ask him, mercy on the court, to reopen this case and let us adjudicate this, because the outcome as it is now, my driver he's not able to drive anymore. So you got to have a good reason to reopen a ticket. Other than that, it's just closed, done, deal. I mean, that's it. But if you got an order of dismissal for a driver, you can go all the way up to 3 years. For a company, it's 2. Okay, next question.
So I got a question real quick. I have a question from the YouTube side. So remember, guys, when you guys are on YouTube Live, just put your question in the chat, and I'm looking at that while this whole thing is running, and I can ask the question for you so you can get your answer. So Jeffrey wanted to know, how do you talk about the small business plan with a trucking company, and who do you share that business plan with at the trucking company?
Randa, your name is on that one.
All righty. Well, you say Jeffrey. So Jeffrey, so LegalShield has lifted the requirements of how big a company can be. So really you can, talk to any company. So I don't know what size you're prospecting, but for me, when I'm prospecting, I'm normally talking to the owner. That person the decision maker is normally the owner, and I have access to that individual. And so we are talking about things that the owner is dealing with. And a lot of times it's not really, well, at all, it's never about the citations. That business plan does nothing for the citations. It helps manage that company as a small business. It helps with trial defense. And when you think about transportation, just know that they're dealing with things more than just accidents. So they're dealing with, like I say, the factoring company who is the person who's handling billing for them. They're dealing with other vendors. They're dealing with companies that they're moving freight for. And so therefore, like if that freight or whatever they're transporting, if it gets damaged, that company may sue them for some type of reason. So, the trial defense helps with that. They have other questions when it comes to just their business. It can be anything, the contracts and documents, that could be just within business, not really them getting work. So They deal with contracts and documents every day when they move a load, but they don't have time to call their law firm on that issue. So they can't use it for that. So, but they're dealing with other types of contracts as well. So, so you have to know that. And so, so when I sell the small business plan, it's the management of the company. They're dealing with the drivers, even though they may be 1099s, they're still employees. They still have issues. They still have things to do with the labor department and all this other stuff as an owner, as a business. So they're dealing with all that, but we can't market to them that. We have to make it clear to them, I'll say, because at the end of the day, that business owner, all he hear you saying is business plan, and his business is the most important thing to him. So you have to make sure that you stress to him the coverage, because you don't want him to just buy a business plan and you walked in there to help him fight those violations, because most, we teach on this call, to research that company, and they should be a low-hanging fruit. So they're probably having violation problems, but you want to make sure that they understand that business plan does not help with that. Does that make sense?
And he can't respond, Sharanda, because he's on the YouTube live, so he can't talk back to you. But
well,
no.
I hope that helped. I hope who's listening, I hope that made sense to you. Because what we don't want to do is to sell that small business plan and nothing else is sold, and they still have the problem. Now they're mad because when they go to use it, it's not for citations. Okay. And a lot of times, I'll say, well, a lot of times those owners really, the focus is their company. And you got to know that. And so when we walk in talking about your business plan, and it's all about their business at the end of the day. And they'll think that CDL plan is just for the drivers, not their company. So we really have to make sure we stress the difference.
This is what that truck.
So, Randy, you posted something, and I wanted you to elaborate on that. After you finish elaborating on it, I'm going to ask another question from the YouTube side that only I can see over here, or anybody that gets on YouTube can see it. So the question about the one-page application, because I use one-page applications as well. So go ahead.
The one-page application, guys. In other words, you can't use it on a network membership. It has to be a group style membership. If it's in a group, if you're sending in an application on a person that is in a group, you can use the one-page applications. If you just sell it to one person, you can't use that one-page application because it will be accepted from the corporate. It's only for group applications that they will accept that one-page application, and that's whether it's a bank draft or a payroll. Either one to make a difference.
And I will put that in there with any application, guys. This is CDLP. And if you're going to send in paper applications, that has to be two separate apps. A legal plan on an app by itself and a CDLP plan on a plan by itself. They are corporate looks at them as two different plans. And when you send them in for group, they cannot be on the same plan. They're going to ask you to separate them. So might as well go ahead and start using your LegalShield at work.
And the reason for that is the legal plan goes to your state law firm, and the CDL goes to Riggs Abney.
Yeah. So don't get mad at them. Don't be fighting corporate. They won't take my app.
I'm sorry, can you go over that again, please? Sharanda, which app do you use for which? That last thing you were talking about.
No. We're just saying on the group side, when you write, if you're writing a combo plan, even if you're writing a small biz, even if you're writing all three of them has to go on a separate app. Of course, the business plan will go on a business app, and you have to upload a business app on the group side because it cannot go in LegalShield at work. A small biz plan cannot go in LegalShield at work. It has to be paper, okay? Paper. LegalShield at Work is not set up to get the information off of that, so just know that. But the legal plan and CDLP plan, they have to be on the universal app. And Randy just talked about, and if you don't have a one-page app, don't worry about it. Just get your two-page app and do what you got. Work with what you got. So if you don't have a one-pager, okay, it's okay. Don't worry about that. Scratch that out of your head. Gone. But corporate, but what I was coming back with is we can't put the legal plan and the CDLP plan on the same application in a group setting. Corporate would not accept that. So don't get mad at them. It's just a universal app. It's the same application. You just can't bubble in legal and bubble in CDLP. You can't do that on group side. Okay, it has to, and Randy just told you why.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
The
So do
one
they,
page,
so they,
the one
Hold
page.
on,
app-
guys. Whoever that is talking, hold on. We're taking questions, so we're gonna have the people speak after we call you out. So whoever that is, raise your hand so we can call on you, so we'll know who we're talking to.
So the thing about the one page app, it is posted in the Facebook page if somebody wants them.
Whoever has a question, go ahead and raise your hand.
Robert, that's me, Sharon.
Oh, sure. Oh my God. I didn't know what you said. I thought that was I thought that was one of the I'm sorry about that. Go ahead.
Daniel True had asked that he has somebody that has a DUI 3 years ago in the car. He wanted to know, will they be able to get a CDL?
Lamar said he needs to go get another career.
Okay, there you go.
I asked Lamar that 3 years ago. A guy had it, and Lamar said, well, I think he might want to look at another career.
That's correct. That is correct.
So let me ask a question from the YouTube. Let me make sure. Robert Wiseman wants to know. Let me ask it per what he said. When a DOT number is not active in SAFER, does it mean it is a new company or a new driver? And when I asked him, I shot back and said, do you mean not active or not authorized? And then he said, sometimes it says not active, and then sometimes it says not authorized. Could we elaborate?
Well, I start to research, and that's just me. It could be a number of things, you know. It could be the insurance. It could be a number of things. I just start to research, and sometimes I think it'll show you the insurance maybe not active. They might not have insurance. That's a sign maybe that they may be new. You know, I've picked up the phone and called just to see are you still in business? What's your deal? I remember, Lamar, you can remember I not authorized was one of my concerns. And I ran up on a couple of companies, I believe, that didn't even know they weren't authorized. So you might be their saving grace. So pick up the phone, talk to them, see what the deal is, see if they're still in business. If you don't know how to just maneuver through SAFER, that's my thing. If you don't know how to maneuver through SAFER and get nosy, pick up the phone and ask some questions. But that's just my take on it. You guys can go with what you know, and but it could mean to me it could mean a lot of things. Insurance being one.
Yeah, the insurance is a big one, Sharanda, because these days the insurance costs are going sky high. And so to cover a driver, they may be paying $50,000 in insurance for this one driver to be able to drive. I mean, it's unbelievable, the insurance cost that is taking place out there. And so a lot of companies is not authorized because you can go over there and you can take a look in the safer, and under insurance, you can see no, there's no insurance. And then you can call them and you can have that conversation like Sharonda's talking about, and come to find out it's really hard to get insurance. And I was talking to an insurance agent that was speaking at the same safety meeting I was at this weekend. And he says, you know, Lamar, that is a big problem these days of these little small companies that get a bunch of tickets. That's why they need to be in our program. And if they're not taking care of those tickets, insurance rates are going to go sky high. And insurance rates are driving a lot of companies out of business. It's out of business. So it's that important. So your little $29.95 CDL plan, I mean, a lot of companies will pay for all 10 memberships or 20 memberships just to make sure that they have that coverage. And while I got the floor, I'm going to give you a quick nugget. At LegalShield at Work, most of you know about LegalShield at Work, where you can put in memberships and so forth in the back office. I went in, I had a kind of office day on Friday. So I went at LegalShield at Work and I pulled up one of my transportation companies and I went through, I clicked on enrollment and I saw all the drivers here that didn't have double memberships, Mr. Randy. They just had the CDLP membership. And so I printed, you can print that one page on each one of those. And I started doing emails to them about the legal plan. Recently, you bought a CDL plan. And if it was recently, it was in the first 3 months of this year, or you enrolled in our CDL plan in 2019 or 2018 or 2017, this particular company. I was sending emails to 3 years ago, 2 years ago, 1 year ago, and so forth. And I had sent, I bet it was 10 emails. And this driver calls me. He says, Mr. Reynolds, and this was 2018. He says, do I need to fill out another application? I said, well, you really do. And so he did. And I sold a legal plan right there. So I've got like 2 legal memberships on an office day, just going at LegalShield at Work. So I just challenge you folks that are in group and you're selling groups and you're selling the CDLP membership and not getting the legal, remind the drivers about the legal plan. And I did that with an email and sold a couple of memberships. So there's a little nugget right there.
Good stuff. And I think it was Miss Karina. I'm sorry if I pronounced your name wrong. I'm sorry. Miss Karina was asking about LegalShield at Work. You set that up once you send in the group authorization form for your first group. So if you've never opened up a group before, then you can't have LegalShield at Work. Once you go to open up that group, when you send in that what we call a GAF, a group authorization form, once you send that in, then you email them and let them know that you want to open up LegalShield at Work, and that's how that'll happen. If you've already opened groups and you don't have LegalShield at Work for some reason, you may have missed the email, or you may have to prompt them by sending them an email. But that's how you get on LegalShield at Work. So, Ms. Sharon, you have a testimonial.
Yeah, my workout partner, one of his aunts drive trucks, and we did a 3-way call with her this weekend. And she said that she wanted to run that past her boss because they think that's something that they may need. So we told her, no, don't run it past them. Just give us the warm market referral and I'll take it from there. Well, I called the business owner today and automatically he just heard it, that it was an awesome program. He said that he has TVC in place, that he's going to cancel TVC first and then pick up our program. I told him, no, don't cancel TVC. Go ahead and put LegalShield in place for him and his drivers, and with the small business plan as well. But the kicker was he's out in Tennessee. Now, my workout partner don't have a Tennessee license at this time, but we still can open up that group while we're waiting for him to get his Tennessee license, or that those apps could be rerouted to somebody in his downline and go from there. So there's always, if there's a licensed state, there's always a way for that person to get credited that's on a split with you.
Well, he can start with those CDLP plans first, because if they over the road, you write them wherever they are.
Right. I know, right?
So
You can go ahead and open that group up and get $100 worth of premium on there and qualify by the 31st.
Oh, that's done.
Sharon was just talking about the TVC membership. I want to make a comment on that because she's absolutely right. And when you do a presentation, there's going to be drivers there that have a TVC membership. And they'll say, well, I'm going to have to wait and cancel that membership. No, you want to sell the CDLP membership while they still have the TVC. Once they get their membership number and it's activated past the 10th day, on the 11th day waiting period, then they can cancel that membership. So you don't want any lapse of service there, Ms. Sharon. You're spot on with that. You don't want any lapse of coverage there by TVC. So you're going to run across some of those. And I love to sell against TVC because TVC is $48 a month and they have a $48 enrollment fee, and they got to pay $96 to enroll on the first membership for that. And so I have always asked the question, how many of you drivers have TVC? Man, hands will go up in the room. How long you been in the program? 3 years. Well, if you've been in my program for the same amount of money, you could have probably had a membership for 6 years. So anyway, just remember that about when you're selling against TVC.
Good stuff. Good stuff.
TVC is the member only, no spouse.
What was that, Randy?
I said
TVC is member
TVC is
only,
member only, no spouse.
no spouse.
If the spouse is a CDL, they have to pay the same price.
Oh, you know, I didn't know that. I didn't realize that either, Randy, about that program. I
TVC,
hadn't realized that they didn't cover the spouse.
And remember, we got the comparison, and it talks about all that.
Yeah, the comparison sheet is on the Facebook page in the file section, so you can find that there. And also, of course, you can find it in LS Engage under resources under CDLP. You'll see it there as well. So, guys, we're gonna be closing out. It's past 9:30. We definitely appreciate all of the questions that we have here. I'm gonna give all the trainers a second to see if they have any closing words. I certainly know that, you know, remember Thursday nights. If you are serious about CDLP right now, you get on this call, you could be listening, you could be taking notes, you could be doing whatever. Once you get serious about CDL, meaning you're prospecting, you're talking to drivers, you're talking to companies, you're looking at making this a part of your business, I would encourage you to jump on the accountability call for that Sharanda has, and she can give details for that when I open it up to the trainers. Guys, I'm getting a lot of messages about the Go for No training, guys. That's not a CDLP trainer, just so you guys clear. Like my Go for No training is not CDLP. And it's not LegalShield. Like it helps with sales and doing business and networking and all that, so you can build your business with it. But it's not an actual LegalShield training. It's not a certification training. And I'm mentioning that because I'm getting messages about it. I just want you guys to understand that that's a totally different training. So if you want to know anything about that, just contact me offline, like text me or call me, email me, whatever. But I'm not going to talk about it on this call because this is our CDLP call and space for that reason. So next Monday we'll be here again. We have some more topics that we're going to go over here as far as CDLP, our CDLP. I'm going to turn it over to the other trainers if they have anything they want to leave with. Guys, don't forget, when you go to look at the replays, please subscribe to the channel. Please like the videos that you've taken a look at. If you like them, hit the thumbs up button and then subscribe to the channel so that the channel gets more promotion. So I'm turning over to Sharanda first, and then we're trying to pitch it to the other trainers if they have anything to close out with.
Thanks, Dunbar. Appreciate you. And the accountability call is at 9:30. It's on Zoom. It's more like a mastermind call. You want to register for it. It's under announcements on the Facebook page. Remember the blitz tomorrow, guys. If you want to get into that energy, you want to get into the groove of making dials for those that have to make dials. Corporate is, and you know, a lot of associates are doing that. So, just get in the groove. If you got to make calls, just know that you'll feel the energy of everybody else making dials. Just a good platform. So remember the blitz tomorrow, so you can, get your dials in. So I just want to promote that, and you guys have an awesome week and a great close out of the month.
Well, my only thing is, you guys, if y'all want the blitz for May 4th, 5th, and 6th, it's in the files section for the upcoming road check. It is really good to start pushing that to your safety directors and new call companies and what have you, to push that. If I was going to send something to somebody, that's what I would send to them. If they wanted information on what we can do, we can help with that blitz, and we can help a lot with it. So it's in the file section. Y'all can go and pull that one-page flyer down. Be sure to make your name and phone number and email and stuff on it. I'm out.
Thank you, Randy.
Yeah, Mr. Randy read my mind, because we have a window of opportunity for April, because the road check is coming up in May. So you got an opportunity to use that document that Mr. Randy is talking about, that's in Facebook under the files. And that should be merchandised to your prospects and to your customers. So don't miss this opportunity. As we go through the year, road check, and then we're going to have break week, and then we have safe driving week. So there's certain things that we can take advantage of. So you got about 30 more days to take advantage of this opportunity that you have. Don't let it slip past you. It's a door opener, and is a thing that safety directors are interested in, and drivers are very interested in the road check. Mr. Robert, or
John was on.
John, yeah, I was looking for him. I don't see him.
I think he dropped off.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I saw where he left. Yeah. You still here, John? Yeah, I think he left. Okay, good, guys. So I appreciate that. Sharon, you had anything? I thought I saw you about to say something.
No.
Was I mistaken?
I was reading something that Sharanda sent. I'm good.
Oh, okay. I got you. All right, guys. Well, we appreciate you guys sticking with us for another week. We look forward to hearing from you guys next week again. You'll see some posts about it. And remember, if you missed last week's call or any week's call, you can go to the YouTube channel, take a look at it, or just go to the Facebook page and it's posted there. You don't even have to go to YouTube. It'll pull you to YouTube. So thank you guys again for joining us. Everybody have a fantastic evening.
Good luck tomorrow, Randy.
Thank you, Robert. Thank you, everybody.
Absolutely.
Thank you,
Yeah, good luck,
everybody.
Randy.
Everybody.
Thanks, everybody.
Night.
Thank you.
Great session.
Hey,
Thank you,
Thanks,
trainer.
everybody.
Everyone, but I had a bunch of them.
Great call.
Yes,
But
sir.
I'll defend.
Good to see you, Mr. Clarence.
Thank you, Mr. Reynolds. Great call.
Oh, thank you.
Absolutely, guys.